Have you ever noticed how some people don't wait for anyone anymore? Not for birthday plans, not for surprise calls, not for someone to make their day feel special, not for validation, not for invitations, not for attention. They just go. They wake up on their birthday, get dressed, go out alone, watch a movie alone, eat at a restaurant alone, walk back home alone, and they're not sad, not angry, not broken. They're calm, they're peaceful, they're okay. And sometimes, when people see this, they don't understand it. They ask, is that loneliness? Is that emotional detachment? Is that giving up on people? Is that being cold? Is that trauma? Is that ego? Is that sadness? But the truth is, most of the time, it's none of that. It's a mindset, a very specific one. It's the mindset of emotional self-sufficiency. It's when someone stops waiting for the outside world to validate their existence, stops waiting for others to give meaning to their moments, stops waiting for people to show up to feel worthy, stops waiting for attention to feel important, stops waiting for love to feel lovable. They don't isolate themselves from people. They don't hate people. They don't reject relationships. They don't avoid connection. They just stop depending on it for their happiness. And that's a huge difference, because dependence says, if you don't show up, my day is ruined. If you don't text, I feel worthless. If you don't celebrate me, I feel invisible. If you don't care, I feel unimportant. But this mindset says, I'll enjoy my life anyway. I'll celebrate myself anyway. I'll live my moments anyway. I'll move forward anyway. I'll grow anyway. It's not loneliness, it's emotional independence. It's the point where someone realizes, my life cannot be on pause waiting for people. This mindset usually comes from experiences: disappointment, broken expectations, unreturned effort, unbalanced relationships, being the one who always shows up, being the one who always cares more, being the one who always gives, being the one who always adjusts, being the one who always understands. And one day something shifts, not in anger, not in hatred, not in bitterness, but in clarity. They realize, I've been outsourcing my happiness. I've been handing people power over my emotions. I've been waiting for permission to enjoy my own life. I've been making others responsible for my joy. So they stop. Not dramatically, not loudly, not with announcements, not with speeches, not with revenge. Quietly. They just start choosing themselves. They start creating meaning instead of waiting for meaning. They start celebrating themselves instead of waiting to be celebrated. They start showing up for themselves instead of waiting to be shown up for. They start valuing their time instead of waiting for others to value it. So yes, this mindset can be healthy, very healthy, when it comes from wholeness, not wounds. Because there are two versions of this mindset. One is healthy, one is unhealthy. The healthy version says, I enjoy my own company. I'm comfortable alone. I don't need noise to feel alive. I don't need crowds to feel important. I don't need validation to feel valuable. I don't need attention to feel seen. I don't need approval to feel enough. This version is grounded, peaceful, secure, emotionally mature, balanced, stable, present. This person can connect with people deeply, but they don't depend on people emotionally. They love, but they don't cling. They care, but they don't attach. They connect, but they don't lose themselves. They give, but they don't abandon themselves. They're alone, but not lonely. Then there's the unhealthy version. This one comes from pain. This one says, I don't need anyone, but it's actually fear. I'm better alone, but it's actually disappointment. I don't care anymore, but it's actually emotional exhaustion. I'm done with people, but it's actually unhealed hurt. I don't feel anything, but it's emotional numbness. I don't trust anyone, but it's trauma speaking. This version isolates, builds walls, avoids intimacy, avoids vulnerability, avoids connection, avoids closeness, avoids emotional risk, not because they're healed, but because they're protecting themselves. So the difference isn't in the behavior, the difference is in the intention. Two people can both eat alone in a restaurant. One feels peaceful, the other feels empty. Two people can both celebrate their birthday alone. One feels empowered, the other feels resigned. Two people can both walk alone. One feels grounded, the other feels disconnected. Same action, different inner state. So is this mindset healthy? Yes, if it comes from self-connection, not self-protection. Yes, if it's rooted in wholeness, not wounds. Yes, if it's built on self-love, not self-defense. Yes, if it's based on peace, not pain. Yes, if it's calm, not cold. Yes, if it's grounded, not guarded. But if it comes from emotional shutdown, if it comes from fear of disappointment, if it comes from avoiding vulnerability, if it comes from trust issues, if it comes from numbness, if it comes from unresolved hurt, then it becomes unhealthy, because then it slowly turns into emotional isolation. Then it turns into detachment. Then it turns into disconnection. Then it turns into emotional walls. Then it turns into loneliness, even in crowds. Now let's talk about the biggest impact of this mindset. The biggest impact is this: people stop chasing and start choosing. They stop chasing attention. They stop chasing validation. They stop chasing love. They stop chasing approval. They stop chasing belonging, and they start choosing peace, choosing self-respect, choosing growth, choosing alignment, choosing stability, choosing calm, choosing emotional safety. They don't beg for presence. They don't beg for effort. They don't beg for care. They don't beg for connection. They allow. They allow people to show who they are. They allow relationships to reveal themselves. They allow distance when it comes. They allow closeness when it's natural. They allow life to unfold. And that changes everything. Because when you stop waiting for people to make you feel special, you stop giving them power over your worth. When you stop waiting for validation, you stop outsourcing your identity. When you stop waiting for attention, you stop tying your value to reactions. When you stop waiting for others to celebrate you, you start celebrating yourself. And that creates emotional stability. You become calmer, less reactive, less needy, less dependent, less anxious, less attached, less insecure, not cold, not distant, not heartless, just grounded. But here's the most important truth. Humans are not meant to live disconnected lives. We are wired for connection, for bonding, for love, for relationships, for shared experiences, for emotional closeness. So the goal is not, I don't need anyone. The goal is, I can be alone, but I don't have to be lonely. I enjoy people, but I don't depend on them. I love deeply, but I don't lose myself. I connect fully, but I stay whole. Because healing isn't isolation. Healing is secure connection. So how do we get rid of the unhealthy version of this mindset? Not by forcing social life, not by pretending to be okay, not by numbing yourself, not by isolating more, not by avoiding emotions, but by doing inner work. By asking, am I alone because I'm peaceful or because I'm protecting myself? Am I independent or emotionally guarded? Am I self-sufficient or emotionally closed? Am I choosing solitude or avoiding connection? Am I healed or just tired? You heal it by reconnecting with yourself, understanding your patterns, healing past disappointments, processing emotional wounds, rebuilding trust slowly, allowing safe connections, learning emotional safety again, learning vulnerability again, learning presence again, learning softness again. Because emotional independence should not erase emotional connection, it should support it. The healthiest mindset is not, I don't need anyone. It's, I don't need people to complete me, but I choose people to share life with. That's power. That's balance. That's maturity. That's peace. That's wholeness. That's emotional freedom. So when you see someone enjoying life alone, don't assume they're broken. They might just be healed. They might just be grounded. They might just be emotionally free. They might just have learned the art of being okay with themselves. And that's not sadness. That's strength. Because the most powerful relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on this video, and do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you feel connected with this content. Good luck, and stay safe.